I grew up speaking only Spanish, and speaking only Spanish meant that when it came to the first day of school, I didn't know any English, and I was completely lost. My mom dropped me off, and I just stood there blank-faced, not understanding a word. It sounded like complete gibberish to me, and the teacher was like, "Oh, she doesn't speak any English. She's going to have to go through English learning classes." The first few months of school, I went through English learner classes, and I was separated from all the kids in my class. So during my recesses and lunch, I would be in these classes looking out the window and watching my peers have fun while I was learning English. Fortunately, though, these classes paid off. I was able to get out and then go in to learn with all the regular kids and even made some friends. The rest of my elementary school years, I would take the test to see if I still needed to take those English learning classes. And fortunately for me, I passed it every single year. My first grade year, I was pro at reading and writing, to the point that I even got the Student of the Year award my first grade year for being able to overcome these language barriers. This successful ending of my first grade year came with its many challenges. It was a difficult year due to my teacher. I had this teacher whose name was Mrs. Arachi. She was well loved by the entire staff at the school, and by parents she was well recommended. However, she was completely opposite of what she presented herself in front of adults. I was excited to have her as a teacher because everyone was hyping her up, and I was like, "Ooh, yay, I'm gonna get this amazing teacher." But I was wrong. The first few days were great. She was nice, we learned, but by the next few weeks, she began to show her true colors. I remember crying at least once a week, and she would yell at me to stop crying, and we all know how much that works. I was also suspended for cheating, and I did not cheat on that test. But I was suspended for cheating, and my mom went to go pick up my stuff in the classroom, and she was outside the door about to walk in, but she heard Mrs. Arachi yelling at the whole class. She peeked through the window and saw all the kids scared, trying to hide from her. She walks in, Mrs. Arachi completely changed her demeanor, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, hi, how are you?" And my mom looked at her and walked to the principal and told her, and the principal was like, "There's no way that can be her, blah, 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 blah." And yeah, that was my first grade year. She was super fake. Everyone thought she was nice. Every Friday, we would get a dessert with our lunch, and she knew I didn't drink milk. And she thought she was being a great, healthy influence on me, so she took away my brownie. And it was the best brownie in the world. And she took away my brownie, and she was like, "You can't have this brownie until you drink your milk." And in my head, I was like, "No way, old lady." I was super smart, though. I got the straw, I shoved it in my milk, started sucking the milk, and would suck up and down to make it look like I was drinking through the straw. And she gave me my brownie back. She wasn't smart enough to check the milk to see if there was milk left. This is a turning point in my young life, though. I told myself I wanted to be a teacher, just not like her. What really kicked off me wanting to be a teacher was Mrs. Bittney. She was my freshman high school English teacher, and I hated her. Okay, so hate is a strong word, but I just liked her so much that I want to be in that class. She would basically talk down to us freshmen. I was used to teachers always being so nice to us, and I wasn't used to criticism on my work. And that's exactly what she would do. She was honest and wanted us to learn what the real world was like. And as a freshman, I understand that. I was scared of her, and she was an advisor for the California Scholarship Federation, CSF, a club I was in, and I would regularly help out with special education tutorials. And one day she asked me, "Hey, do you want to be in charge of this sector of this club?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll run it." And she was like, "The only way you can do it is if you run for an officer position in this club." And I was like, "Oh, no. I don't want to do this." By the way, this club had 500 members, and we had to give a speech in front of these 500 people, so I was like, "No, thanks." But she was like, "Hey, this can really impact your resume, and you can get into a great college." And that was my selling point. I ran for vice president and won over 15 people, so that was cool. This kicked off my entire high school career. I felt like I could do anything, and now I was able to run for office positions in different clubs. By the end of my senior year, I was president of like 3 clubs at the same time, vice president of a few, as well as secretary and treasurer here and there, because she pushed me to do and go for something that I was scared of. I am where I am now. I have a full ride here at Fresno State and am graduating early and want to pursue a master's in higher education. And I feel like I couldn't have done this without her. If it wasn't for her believing in me and pushing in me, I feel like I would have gone to community college, lost motivation, and dropped out. I'm saddened by the fact that she passed away last winter before I ever got to thank her for where she inspired me to go to. I couldn't do it without her, and that's why I want to be a teacher. I want to inspire students and change their life for the good.